Hello, my name is Sophie and welcome back to my channel. As we approach the end of the year, it's not even just as we approach the end of the year. I've been thinking about making my book journal and my bullet journal for next year for several months now. I don't know why, I'm just really hyped for the 2026 prep work, though that makes it feel way more dramatic than it is. I've been designing my own book journal for, I think this will be my third year. I've been doing my own bullet journal since 2017, so 8 years now, but only my third year doing my own book journal, and I'm really excited about it. But I thought before we move on to the new journal content, it would be nice to have a kind of last flip through the 2025 journal. And I appreciate it is only November, so I've still got all of December's spreads and content to go in, except my monthly spreads look pretty much the same every month, so I don't think anything is really majorly going to change between now and the end of the year. I have so many ideas for end of year content, so I might as well get a head start on it. So here is a flip through of my 2025 book journal and which spreads I like, which spreads I don't like, how I think I'm going to change things next year before we get started on the new journal. Have I even bought my new journal yet? No, but not the point. I'm very excited about it. So please enjoy a flip through of my 2025 book journal. Hello and welcome to the desk segment of this video. This is my book journal for this year. I believe the brand is called Easy Note, and I just picked it up really cheap. I have it. I wouldn't use it again, but it is what it is. It's what I had access to. So, starting off strong, we have my end papers that I made out of tissue paper because I thought it would look cool. Turns out tissue paper is harder to stick down than anticipated. I've got some decorative washi tape on the side, but I like that I made the effort. Then we have a title page with some stickers that I thought I would add more to, but I clearly haven't. And then establishing the kind of green foliage theme. Very simple, nothing too overly complicated. Then on the first page, we have my rating system and the colour highlighters I was using. I don't have a massive selection, so I've got them kind of in a dedicated place, and I don't have any number codes or anything. But yep, that's my rating system with some decorative stickers, and then my reading goals, which not going as well as they should be for this end of the year, but yeah, very simply decorated, I think, these pages, but functional and work just fine. Then we have my annual statistics, which I'm really pleased with, and I like comparing throughout the year, so it's really nice to have all of these actually. Obviously, I have the months down the side, and then the things I'm tracking are the number of books I've read in a month, the pages, the minutes, how many physical, ebook, audio, or library books, how many were read from my TBR, how many new buys, my TBR total, the TBR difference from the previous month, and then my average rating, which I get that information from Storygraph. Then I've got my start of 2025 TBR total, which is actually wrong because I'd listed a book on there twice, but close enough. My past reading goals, because I just, again, find that information interesting. My goal for this year and the date I achieved it. I have almost always, I think except for 2022, I've hit my goal early, so I put that in, and then we've got a little not pattern, what do they call it, scrapbooky kind of thing, mosaic, that's what I was aiming for, of scrap paper bits down here just for decorative purposes. So yeah, that's a very functional page. Then we have my 25 books in 2025. At this point, I'm behind on updating and writing reviews because I have read Jacoby's Game and I'm currently reading Such a Fun Age, but I'm very, very close to finishing my 25 in 2025, which I'm really excited about. I like this layout, but there's not quite enough room for all the star stickers, so I think what I would do next year is I would put the stickers at the side, but I'll figure that out when I'm making the new journal. Then we have my alphabet challenges, both for book titles and authors. I call this a passive challenge because I don't actively try to do it. If I'd got to the point where I only had one letter left of the year, I would make more of an effort to read the rest, but where there's a few gaps, that's fine. I just find it interesting to see how much I can read without actively trying to read all the letters. Then we have my monthly reading log, where I write down every book I've read each month. I don't know what my average for each month this year was, but September was definitely my most successful, which is very exciting. And yeah, I did like a Dutch door on that one, with the title going over both pages, which I really like. Then we have my reading goal. I only went up to 60 because obviously that was my goal, but I have now read more than that. And then I nabbed this idea from Rachel Catherine to do a bar graph of how many books I've read each month, and I really like how that looks, so I'll definitely be using that again next year. We have my library books borrowed. I like this page, and it actually shows me that I should be trying to use my library more, except at the moment where I'm focusing on my backlist physical TBR, it's mostly just what books are available at the library. I do check every book that's on my monthly TBR to see if I can get it from the library. This is how much I use the library when I'm focusing on reading the books I already have. I use the library exclusively for audiobooks. And then we have a genre tracker. I thought it might be good for spotting patterns between ratings and genres, but it turns out books are more nuanced than that. So I don't know if I'm going to bother with this next year because it doesn't really tell me anything and it's not really useful. It looks all right though, so I guess there's that. Then we have my bookshelf. I know a lot of people pre-draw the books on their bookshelves, but I get paranoid about a title being too long, so I just draw the books as and when I've written the titles. Like, we've got some really long ones popping in, so I think I will be able to get to the second page before the end of the year, but we'll see. And it's nice to have, I have a DNF graveyard down here as well, so that it's been useful to have the second page for that purpose. Then we have my 5-star reads. I've got a few more to print out to catch up on, but I like this page, and maybe one day I'll actually fill it up. And then we have our book of the year bracket. Again, this doesn't really tell me anything useful, but it's fun to make and fun to look at. So I've enjoyed making this through this year, and I'll probably make a TikTok about it at the end of the year. So there's that. I have nothing more insightful to say there. Next up, we have my book club tracking page. Now, this book club I did with my sibling, we kind of disbanded in April, so this page hasn't been so relevant, but I've really liked having this page with all of the wedding book club books I've read this year and my ratings for them. Next year, I think I'm going to do another challenge where I try to read a book from the Horrible History set we got each month, so maybe I'll use the second page to track that next year. Though I don't think I'll rate those, so not sure what that will look like yet, but we'll see when I get around to making it. And then we have my new buys tracker. So this, I didn't pick 57 specifically, it was just the amount of squares I could draw on that page. And I was really optimistic at the beginning of the year. I gave myself one page here and then 2 more pages. And as you can see, I've had to add another page because the buying has been out of hand. A lot of these were secondhand, but yes, that is my book buying tracker. And then we have my pre-order tracker, which I really like the layout of this one. It's been really useful. Nice to have somewhere to write down my 2026 releases that I've already pre-ordered. I wouldn't change anything about this spread, really pleased with it. Then we have my reading bucket list. My plan at the end of the year is to print out all of the covers and add them in, but at the moment I've just got all of the challenges with little post-it notes telling me which book fulfilled that challenge. I think next year I would call it a bingo board because I just don't like the phrase bucket list and its association with the end of one's life. But I did enjoy colouring these in and finding books to fit all of these. I just need to read one more non-fiction book and then I can tick off everything, which is very satisfying. I think it will be nice to look at all of them coloured in as well as having all the covers on there. So that's something that I will work on at the end of the year. Then we have my series tracker. This took me, no joke, days to write out. And it turns out I missed some because I own books that I didn't realise were part of a series. And I think, especially where there was no way I was going to read all of these books in one year, I'm not sure how functional having this tracker is. It's nice to be able to cross off a couple of series that I've decided I'm not continuing. And then obviously here where it's an ongoing series, I got to tick off the new release. We've got a series I started there, but most of these pages have remained untouched because, yeah, I've read The Saga of the Unfated. I started reading Fallen Gods. I finished off Delegate Dream Department Store, but I've not read anything from the rest of these series. Much the same. Started Chatterme, started The Radiant Emperor, decided I wasn't going to continue. I'm working on Maximum Ride. I'm up to date on Powerless, but haven't touched any of the other series. Bit more success on this one. I've read 2 of those, finished off the Empyrean, but again, that's a series that's in progress, so I'm up to date. And then I finished Tomes and Tea. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to do this again. I might do more of this page where I've got the series in progress and the series I've started, and write down the ones that I'm kind of actively reading. But I don't know if I will list them all out again, because I don't know how useful it really is to have to have spent all of that time and it not really have much function. So I think I'm going to redesign this for next year and more focus on this page. Maybe I'll do this bit, but only with the series that I have at least read 1 book of. I don't know. I'll let you know when I set up my new journal. Then we get onto the monthly spreads. These look much the same every month. I have a calendar on this page to track, not track, but to kind of note what I was reading when, and have my monthly TBR on this page. Then I have my review pages where I just have the picture up here, the star rating, the chili rating, if applicable, the format and what format I read it in. The information I have up here is title, author, series, genre, audience, format, status, whether that is a new release or a backlog or a library book or whatever, the book length, and then the dates read, and then my review at the bottom. The written review is kind of the priority for this page, so it looks very much the same as you go through. And then at the end of each month, we do a little stats. I do a little stats wrap up with the number of books, number of pages, minutes, average rating, a variety of information regarding new buys, formats, physical TBR, and then the book covers of the books I finished with some sticker decoration. And the information is the same throughout the year, but I think the design has got better throughout the year. More reviews. Just going to flick through this bit much quicker because it is much the same. Reviews. Oh, then I did a little bonus one because we went to Hay on Wye in February, so a bunch of the stickers, and this is kind of like junk journaling with some of the bookmarks and things. I just wanted to commemorate our trip. I really like this spread, and I want to do more of this next year. Then we have the February stats. This one was over 2 pages, so I made a whole page based on how many books I bought, but we did have a trip to Hay on Wye, so I feel like that justifies it. And then again, the March setup, my TBR, reviews. I had a DNF down here, so I had this was a non-fiction book that I had to read for the wedding library. I didn't have much to say, so it made sense to put the DNF review in there. Then we have the March stats. April TBR. I had a theme of green and orange. I don't really know why I picked those colours, but I did. And I do like them, but I think I'm going to not limit myself to a certain colour palette next year. April stats. Yep. May TBR. All the orange stickers. I love that sticker. I think that one's really pretty. But then we have some space stickers over here. I was reading very heavily in March. There was a lot of books on the go. Then more reviews. Have a double page for May stats. I don't specifically pick whether I do a double page or a single page. It's just how many books I've read and where the reviews fall. So in this month, I also ordered a t-shirt from a small business that was a goose reading a book from Hattie's Creations. And I thought it was cute, and this little thank you card was cute, so I've stuck that in there. June TBR, had to get a Pride sticker in. Reviews, June stats. July TBR, July reading. Had a good reading month in July, I think. July stats, much the same, just nice stickers. Genuinely, the things I say that make a pretty journal, if you're not like super artistic: washi tape, stickers. I use letter stamps sometimes, but I was clearly in a sticker mood this month, and coloured pens. You don't have to have nice handwriting or be good at drawing. Just stickers, washi tape, stamps and coloured pens, and that'll do it. There's August. And oh yeah, I did a whole spread on Bookfest, a little review on how it was very overwhelming and not the best event I'd ever been to. But some of the, I think this is just some of my stickers. I don't know if these specifically came from Bookfest, but yeah, little page on that. Then more reviews, August stats, September TBR with some August leftovers. Then we have a lot of reviews because September was my best reading month of this year. I want to say so far, but I don't think it's going to get any better than that. And then this little post-it note is just to mark where I need to start again when I print my next sticker page of book covers. So this is what it looks like without the book covers, and I'll print those out with on my sticker paper and stick those in all in one go. So there's my October TBR, and I think I only just finished catching up on the reviews for those. I'm a little bit behind at the moment. So I've got my October stats, and then yeah, I was just working on my November spread, so I need to update this one. But I suppose this is an example of what a blank spread looks like. Yeah, just a lot of stickers. And then I still need to write all of my reviews for November. So I've still got about 40 pages left in this journal. I don't think I'll finish all of those with the reviews and the spreads, but I've got some little postcards things that I want to stick in that can go in the back. And I'll do some like wrap up spreads. I bought this one from an indie bookshop recently. And yeah, I'll fill in the rest of the journal somehow. I don't like having empty pages left, so I'll do like wrap-ups and yearly stats and just kind of journaling observations and things. So yeah, that's my 2025 journal and the spreads I would keep and the spreads I would change. I hope that was helpful, or maybe you took some ideas for some new spreads if you're doing your own book journal. And even if you don't make your own journal, I hope you enjoyed looking at mine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're reading a great book, and I'll see you next time for another bookish video. Bye!